Now, Lenovo shares were slammed in Hong Kong trading today after the company announced that it's paying almost $3 billion to buy Motorola from Google. Now, Google itself paid $12.5 billion for the smartphone maker just 2 years ago, but it's failed to turn the company around. And there are worries that Lenovo might still suffer the same fate. Well, adding to the concerns has been another big deal that Lenovo announced just last week. It paid $2.3 billion to buy IBM's low-end business server unit, and it's agreed to pay a big breakup fee if that deal falls through, up to 9% of the purchase price. Now, such fees are usually pegged at around 3.5%, and analysts say the size of this deal reflects the risks involved. Now, most people are expecting the merger to clear regulatory hurdles, including a national security review by the US government. But it is expected Washington might demand some kind of concessions. Well, to talk to us about the regulatory environment in the US is Ted Moran, professor at Georgetown University and a consultant for Huawei, the Chinese networking and telecoms firm that's also had some trouble with the US government recently. If I may just begin with the possible issues around Lenovo, Ted, can you see any potential obstacles here?
Well, I do think that there may be some obstacles. Let's look at what's going on. So Lenovo is proposing to purchase what you call the low-end server business from IBM. This server business is the x86, which is widely used in business, government, defense, IT. Both Verizon and AT&T use this server system. So the regulatory authorities in Washington may say, well, we're afraid that if Lenovo buys this, this will allow Chinese intelligence services to somehow penetrate or monitor this server system. Now, the problem with this is that lots of companies produce the x86 system, and almost all of them produce it in China. So, for example, Hewlett-Packard or Dell produces x86 systems in China using thousands of Chinese parts and software.
Well,
but the crazy thing in Washington...
Sorry to interrupt. I mean, as we've said, this sort of treads on much of the same territory as we've seen in the debates with Huawei. The accusations are the same and the responses from the company are similar. I mean, the US government's concerns about these issues seem to have a number of, I guess, logistic complexity to them. Do you think that there's a political element involved in this, or do you think there's actually valid concerns that need to be addressed?
Well, the principal problem is this, Tamor. When you have globalized supply chains, everybody making x86 servers in China, there is a common threat. I mean, if you think there's a threat that Chinese intelligence may penetrate these, it doesn't make much difference what the nationality of the owner is. But Washington discriminates against Chinese firms. Washington may, I hope not, but may discriminate against Lenovo, just as it discriminates against Huawei, because it says somehow a Chinese firm is more vulnerable than its next door neighbor in Shenzhen that makes exactly the same product. Do you see the inconsistency there?
Of course, and what it also does is it sort of opens the door to any number of explanations and concerns in other areas too. I mean, where does one draw the line on this?
Well, in the era of globalized supply chains where China, Israel, Russia all have components, Mexico, Indonesia have components that come into IT systems, into server systems, trying to eliminate the threat by singling out a company of one particular nationality like Lenovo or Huawei just doesn't make any sense.
Ted, appreciate your comments. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Ted Moran of Georgetown University in the United States.